Hey interwebs, we got a 2016 5th generation Toyota 4Runner SR5 4-wheel drive, 34-inch tires, no body mount chop. Did a video a year ago, showed the suspension work, showed that it's not rubbing on the body mount even without the body mount chop. Done a few things since then, so we'll show you around and show you that it's still not rubbing off-road. Got a lot of comments saying, hey, you're gonna rub off-road when you're articulating and turning. Not doing it. Shout out to Hot Sauce 678 helping me out today. Last video we had the stock bumper with a Viper cut upgraded to the C4 hybrid bumper. Love the bumper. It took about 8 weeks from order to delivery. They could only deliver it to a freight terminal, so picked it up there, installed it, worked great. 32-inch light bar, got some cube lights on the side, no winch yet. Love the clearance that it gives on the front tires, really opens up that front there. Did not buy the additional armor for the washer fluid reservoir, so the washer fluid reservoir is exposed. My thought process is, if the washer fluid reservoir does get damaged, that's not going to keep me from getting home off the trail, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. Moving to the side of the truck, we've got Ironman 4x4 rock sliders, tubular design. They are sloped on the bottom with a flat step up top. Came powder coated, shipped from Oregon to our house in Arizona in 2 days. Great customer service, love it. They've been great. They've been protecting the truck nicely. Probably not as robust as, say, a more expensive option like a C4, but we're not bashing on the rock several times a week. So these are more than plenty for what we do. Great for the money. Super happy with them. Continuing out back, we have another Ironman product. We got the Ironman 4x4 rear bumper. As with the front bumper, I didn't mention it, but as with both bumpers, quite a bit of trimming to the factory bumper to make it all work. Went with this bumper. It's one of the few options that allows you to retain your factory receiver. So a lot of options. You ditch that receiver and they have the option for a weld-on or a bolt-on one, but one that is not DOT approved. For trailering, for towing, we really want a DOT approved hitch there. Also with this aftermarket bumper, it gave us a little extra room to mount this oversized spare tire. So we're sitting up right up against the receiver, didn't have to do any additional modifications to make this bigger tire fit. Again, came powder coated, shipped to my house, to my door in 2 days. All right, looking underneath the back of the truck, we have a 3-inch lift done via old Man Emu Springs, Bilstein 5100 shocks, and Yota, I can't really see it in this video, Yota Mafia extended brake lines. The old Man Emu Springs, for this 3-inch lift, there's 3 different spring rates to choose from depending on how much of an aftermarket load you're going to put on this truck. We've got the heavier back bumper, we got the rock sliders, but we don't have a swing out tire carrier, we don't have a rooftop tent, so we went with the middle spring rate. Inside the truck, we removed the factory head unit, replaced it with a much upgraded aftermarket head unit. 2016, the head units that were coming in these things were small screen, terrible resolution, so much bigger screen, much bigger backup camera. This is a great unit. It looks factory, it looks very flush, it works with everything. It's basically like having a computer inside your dash. Complementing it with aftermarket, much brighter backup headlights, works great at night. Tires that we're rocking are Yokohama Geolander Mud Terrains in a size of 285/75/17. Math works out to a 33.9-inch tire. However, Yokohama says these particular tires are a 34.1, so it is a true 34-inch tire. Front suspension is riding on Old Man Emu Springs again, and Bilstein 5100 shocks and Yota Mafia extended brake lines. Again, as with the back springs, there were 3 different spring rates to choose from for this 3-inch lift. We went with the heavier spring rate due to the increased weight from the bumper, and if we ever add a winch to it, that will increase weight also. I don't know if we'll add a winch. There's not a whole lot to winch to out here in the desert unless we have a land anchor. The wheel choice is just a stock Toyota SR5 wheel. Standard offset, no wheel spacers. Not a big fan of wheel spacers. Looking through here, we have our SPC upper control arm with our adjustable ball joint. You can adjust both camber and caster with this upper ball joint. This is great. One of the first places that people tend to rub, even before the body mount chop, is you go with a taller tire. A lot of times it's wider. Wider tire, you turn, you're going to start rubbing on this upper control arm on the front. So what we did here to keep it from rubbing is we went max positive camber with the upper ball joint. So this control arm is slotted. We pull the ball joint all the way out. That increases clearance between the tire and the upper control arm. And then we further change the alignment specs underneath the truck to offset that positive camber that we introduced by pulling the wheel all the way out. Per SPC's recommendations, we set this up for a 2-degree positive caster, which is what they suggest when you do a 3-inch lift. So when you lift this type of suspension setup, this upper control arm is not flat, level with the land or level with the truck. It's angled back. So as you lift the vehicle and this ball joint or this control arm goes down, this ball joint moves forward, and moving the upper ball joint forward decreases caster. So we fixed that with the adjustable ball joint here, and then we further fixed it with the lower eccentrics, which we'll look at now. All right, looking underneath this vehicle, we have the lower control arm with the factory eccentric cam bolts for the front and back of the control arm. Rear eccentric is maxed out, pushing the lower ball joint out, which decreases camber, offsetting what we did up top with the camber. It also pushes the ball joint forward, the lower ball joint forward, which increases caster, which typically you lose some caster when you lift these vehicles. So this one is maxed all the way out, and the front eccentric is about the neutral position, and that's what we did on both the left and the right. And of course we had to adjust the toe. Had a great alignment guy, really understands how to give good alignments to lifted trucks. We got 3.6 degrees positive caster both left and right, which is in spec. We got 0.5 degree of positive camber both left and right. That's almost in spec. That's 1/10 of 1 degree out of spec. 0.5 degree of camber, that's a good alignment with 3.6 degrees caster, and of course toe is perfect. Great alignment, tires are wearing good, very stable drive. It's a good alignment, super happy with it. I cleaned the mud off the body mount area where people would normally rub and require the body mount chop. You can see here I've cleaned off the mud. There are no scratches, no shiny spots, no rubbing of any kind. This truck gets flexed out regularly off-road, no issues, even when flexed and turning the wheel. With this setup, it doesn't rub. And one of the reasons it doesn't rub is we stayed with the factory offset wheel. So it's been a good truck so far. No issues, great off-road, works great, tires work great, especially aired down. Great on the highway, very stable, handles better than the factory suspension setup. It's a little bit stiffer. You get less nosedive during panic braking. Really no compromises, it works great. And no rubbing on the body mount chop. We're not opposed to doing a body mount chop. We have the tools and the expertise to do it. We just don't need to do it.
Have a nice day. Bye, interwebs. Subscribe to Hot Sauce 6